When it comes to starting homeschooling, there are many opinions out there. And I'm talking opinions, not facts. People saying, this is the right way, or this is that. Like, I know I have seen a lot of them. And it really can get very confusing. And you start to wonder, homeschooling, am I cut out for it? Or am I doing the right thing? Or perhaps you just feel like that you need to give up before you start. Please don't. There really is no need. Hi, and welcome to Learning Life, and thank you so much for joining me today. Look, I know that there are opinions out there. Lots of opinions. There's also great facts. I love facts, and I love to present them. And really, it's always my heart that if I'm presenting an opinion, that's sort of based in fact, that's just me. That's just part of who I am. But in these videos, I want to be able to share and to connect and help people. And so I want to say thank you so much for liking and watching and subscribing, for sharing with your friends, being part of this learning life. Now, when it comes to starting homeschooling, you do need to do some research. And you do need to work out, what is best for you. One of the things that I really say often is do what works for you. And I talk about, to my friends, when we're parenting, in homeschooling, all of that. Do what works for you. I'm going to come back to that later. But to me, this is so important. I know that I would tie myself up in knots trying to do it like someone else. And it never felt right. It's like wearing the wrong underpants. I'm trying to do this, but it doesn't feel like me. And I really had to work out when it came to parenting, it came to education, it came to homeschooling. I needed to do what makes sense for me and for my family. So I am going to give you my best advice on how to start homeschooling. This comes from trial and error. My trial and error, my friends' trial and error, who are homeschooling, from my years of being in education and in the classroom and tutoring. It comes from just conversations with friends, and also my desire to see families really successful in homeschooling. So let me give you my best advice. Don't just jump in and start looking at curriculum. Whenever someone starts talking about wanting to homeschool, I usually hear the first question asked, it's well, I want to homeschool. So, what curriculum do you use? What should I use? I get that. I get why that really becomes the first question, because we're so school focused and school structured, and to have an education, you need a curriculum. And therefore, if we are homeschooling, we need a curriculum. Well, yes and no. And, for many, they feel well, if I have sorted out my curriculum, then everything will be okay. No. Look, I have seen too many give up and just decide, homeschooling does not work for us, when really it was just the wrong curriculum for them. And they hadn't really thought through some other things. There are things that should be discussed. There are things that should be thought through, things that should be discovered well before you even start looking at curriculum. So let's take that whole, hey, I want to homeschool now, let's curriculum. Let's just put that one down here. And, then we'll come back to that and we'll look at why. Talk to friends who homeschool. Let the interrogations begin. Okay, well, not really. But, I think that, there should be questions that you are asking, because it's going to help you really cut through the competing ideas and the competing thoughts, and that's to help find clarity for you. I believe that we need to get to the nitty-gritty right from the start. And so I do have some questions that I encourage parents to ask, why did you decide to homeschool? Has it been beneficial for your family? And in that, why or why not? How did you decide on the curriculum you use? And what do you like about it? And what don't you like about it? What was the biggest challenge for you at the beginning? If you could go back and start again, what would you do differently? is there anything that you want to change about what you do now and why? And do you think that this has helped or hurt your relationship with your children and why? Look, there are so many more questions you could ask. You probably have like some for yourself. Like, of course, like we all have like these questions. But as I said, like I think it's helpful to go deep and talk the nitty gritty like first. This is extremely helpful. And maybe you don't need like answers to all of those questions. You don't, okay, because you've already got some things sorted out. But asking those questions and getting deep in it and finding out like from people what worked, what didn't work, how, what would you change? Like this is so very beneficial. So talk to your friends. Get the support you need right from the start. This support actually covers like two components, okay? The first is having a group of friends you can talk to when you have questions or struggles. Like, I love this. I have some homeschooling friends that I can text, and it can just be as simple as like, I am having a bad day, and just the response like, okay, like, I'm sorry. That's to me, like, that's all that I need. If I have questions, I have struggles, I'm not looking for people who are generally going to come back and go, oh, but they're your children. You love them. Well, of course I love them. I just don't like them today. Or, it's like, oh, it's okay. It'll pass. I know that it will pass. But right now, in this moment, I am just done, So having those friends that you can talk with, laugh with, say the bad words with if you need to, asking those questions, like even answering those, all of that, so very helpful. That support you need in homeschooling. You can't do it alone. But the second part, I just think that if you're unsure, like you're having hesitations, like you're coming into it and you're just really not sure, it can be worthwhile going beyond just talking to friends and getting that support that you need from the start. Okay, not a year down the track when you feel like you're fumbling and failing and all of that. Like find yourself a homeschool coach or do a course like on how to homeschool. Yeah, this is what I do, okay? I love to partner with people who want to have a great education for their children and a great childhood. I want to see families like setting up their homeschooling like from the start and, doing well with it. I do have a course. I want to share it just briefly here. It's How to Homeschool. It is a masterclass. You can check out the link below or up there. It's a self-paced online course that really came from all the stuff that I wish I knew at the beginning so that I didn't have like all of this trial and error. And it will take you from that beginning, like with your whys and all of that, going through, yes, later into curriculum and then beyond, and making sure that you are making the decisions that are right for you and your family. Okay? Yes, I am looking to partner with people. Like, I am so excited about this. And part of it as well is that you get to be part of like a private group and you can ask questions of me. I can be here as your support. To me, this is exciting. And, it's not for everybody. It is for those that really do want a great education for their kids, want them to have a great childhood and like just really like start that like right from the start. So why not check it out? Link below or up there. Do what works for you. Yep. I'm circling back to that, my little catchphrase that my husband laughs at, but it is so true. Do what works for you. This is so important, as I said, like in parenting, like in all those things, but it is so important in homeschooling, okay? You've spoken to your friends and you've done a course. You might find that actually what you want or need from homeschool, like, is different to how you first thought, okay? Or different from your friends. You don't want school at home. You need more flexibility and, more like just randomness in your structure, or maybe you do want structure. Maybe you want an all-in-one online curriculum that is sort of school at home. You know what? This all ties back to your whys, your wants, your needs. Okay? Your children are so very different from their friends. They're different from your friends' children, your neighbors' children, your cousins, all of these different things. Children, so radically different. So in that, there is really no one right way to homeschool. Though there are some very strong opinions out there that there is a right way. and a wrong way to do it. I know I've seen it. I'm like, really? You think that? To me, I would say that there is no one right way to homeschool unless you do what works for you, okay? Don't put yourself into a box. Like, don't tie yourself up in knots trying to do it a certain way. You won't be happy. Who won't be happy? You won't be happy. Your children won't be happy. And then what really happens is like that homeschooling becomes like a failure or it becomes a regret. And it really doesn't have to be. Do what works for you. So this is my best advice for when it comes to start homeschooling. And this is my heart. Like, I want people to feel that it is good for them, to feel like that they can go into it because it is wonderful. It's why I do it. There's so many great things. And so, talk to your friends, do a course, all of that. Like, it is so, so important that we set it up. And above all in that, and if you get nothing else out of this video except for this, do what works for you, because this is so important, and therefore you will be starting your homeschooling right. Well, thank you so much for watching today and being part of this learning life. Again, like if you sort of get excited or thought about like setting up for success, great education for your child and like great childhood, check out the link below for my course, because I'm really looking to partner with people who have that excitement. And if you want to help get these videos out, you can do that. So check that out at patreon.com or at my website, LearningThis.Life.